Welcome to That'll Do It. Your go-to MMA prep show is here to arm you with the sharpest stats and most relevant insights before you lock in your bets or build those DFS lineups.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I'm your host, Monk.
My name is my name.
And in this episode, we're diving deep into the numbers for 4 key fights at UFC 314. First up, we have Julian Erosa taking on Darren Elkins.
Isn't good damage. It's just damage.
Followed by Virna, Jandiroba, and Xiaonan.
I would like more information.
Third fight, we're talking Silva taking on Bryce Mitchell.
Light him on fire. Hit him with a fucking Lincoln, right?
And finally, we have to do this one. The main event, Alex Volkanovski will be fighting Diego Lopes for the featherweight championship.
Cause tonight will be the night that I will fall for you.
Do you want even more data? Whether you prefer a comprehensive stat sheet, in-depth video breakdown for all 13 fights, or detailed statistical write-ups, I've got you covered. Head on over to patreon.com/monkmatics right now and choose your ideal stat delivery system. Can't decide? Save $5 and get all 3 for just $14.99 a month. Now, let's get into the numbers for UFC 314.
Showtime. We're gonna go nuts in there.
A very interesting fight here between Julian Erosa and Darren Elkins. What's the first thing you see if you've been watching my channel for a bit? We have some terrible defensive striking numbers from Juicy J.
Call me the juice and you know I'm a stump.
I mean, rating of 7 overall for significant striking defense, 8 head striking defense, 4 distance striking, and then well below average pretty much everywhere else except for ground and takedown defense. Now, he does have an okay strength of schedule, a very good strength of victory, and the offensive numbers, I mean, the striking numbers where he lacks in defense, he more than makes up for in offense. I mean, almost every offensive category for Julian Erosa is well above average, except for takedown offense, but he's still averaging over half a takedown per 5 minutes. He lands 6 strikes a minute and gets hit with 6.3. That is ridiculous. Darren Elkins, much less volume, much poorer offensively overall, except for, we got takedown offense, control offense. Anything inside the distance is very good. He does land 3.4 strikes a minute and gets hit with 3.22. The defense, much better than Erosa's overall. I mean, it's much more consistent on average, but the striking defense is very suspect for Darren Elkins, and that is, as we said, where Julian Erosa shines. Now, the striking offense, you're not really too worried about that from Elkins, although you're probably going to have to worry about it no matter who you're fighting if you're Julian Erosa. So we do have a couple of comps for these guys, as you would expect. They have 1 million UFC fights. What is it? 16 plus 29. What's that? 45?
I'm a tough guy. Tough guys don't do math.
Erosa beat Ricardo Ramos, who has similar striking to Darren Elkins. Elkins beat Zhang Taekwon, who has similar takedowns to Julian Erosa. And Elkins also beat Diego Brandao and Dwayne Ludwig, who has similar control statistically to Julian Erosa. Erosa's been finished 6 times in the UFC and 7 losses. All 6 have come via KO, TKO.
You can say I have the weakest chin, but it's like,
he does have 4 submission wins as well. Elkins also not a stranger to being knocked out. 3 of his 10 UFC losses are KO TKOs, and he has been subbed once. Has 4 KOs and 3 submission wins. Most of his fights do go to decision, and he is 12-6 in those decisions. Both guys have poor decision rates. Julian Erosa just 12-4 as a pro. Actually, but 3-1 in the UFC. Minus 450 for Erosa, and that's kind of why I said this was interesting. How can a guy with this kind of striking defense, and I know I said this last week about somebody, and then it backfired on me. Oh, it was the Shirez Vergara fight. I did go 9-3 in my picks last week, but that was one of the 3 that I did not get correct.
Everybody takes a beating sometime.
But I pretty much said this verbatim. How is a guy with this kind of striking defense a minus 450 favorite against anyone? Well, I mean, Elkins doesn't get KO'd as much as CJ Vergara. The point remains, minus 450 with no striking defense. Elkins not really known as a striker, as we're about to see. Round 1. I mean, Elkins has started 29 round 1s, 24 round 2s, and 22 round 3s. Elkins has over 102 minutes in UFC round 3s.
Long time.
That's insane. Erosa, 5.5 strikes a minute, 7.6 in the second, and almost 6 in the third. Fantastic numbers, and along with that, the control time and the takedowns go up from pretty average to below average to average in the second, and then fantastic in the third. 1.8 takedowns per third round and 1.3 minutes of control time. Now, we talked about his offense. His defense is basically the same. He gets hit with almost exactly what he lands, 5.4 in the first, 7.5 in the second, and he's actually getting outstruck by 0.8 strikes in that third round. He's also getting controlled for almost a minute. I mean, the defensive numbers are nowhere near ideal for Julian Erosa. We've already shown the ratings, especially in the striking. It is really bad. He's been knocked down in every single round, guys, multiple times. The offensive striking score is very good for Erosa, as we talked about. The control time and takedowns go up in every round. Round 3 is clearly his best if he makes it that far. And he should against Darren Elkins, who is difficult to finish, relatively durable. When's the last time he was finished? Cub Swanson back in 2021, and then Lamas back in 2018. Other than that, it's all decisions recently. And Elkins 2.7 strikes, or 2.8 in the first, 3.6 in the second, and 3.9 in the third. So he's increasing every round. The takedowns in the first and second are very good. 1.21 in the first, 0.9 in the second, and the control time 1.5 minutes in the first and 2 in the second is very good. Those numbers kind of fall off in the third. The control time remains, but the takedown numbers do kind of fall off a bit. He doesn't really allow a ton of damage, ironically, because that is his nickname. He always looks like he's been punched a million times. He's absorbing 3.3 strikes in the first, just about 3 in the second, and then 3.2 in the third. He's not allowing a ton of takedowns or control time on average, nothing out of the ordinary. The defensive numbers are very good as far as grappling and striking goes. I mean, average to good. I shouldn't say very good. And then the striking is okay too, defensively. Offensively, in the grappling is really where Darren Elkins shines. 1.21 takedowns in the first, 1.6 control time. I mean, we already talked about those numbers, but these ratings, 76, 75, 70 and 91, 58 and 88, those are very, very good numbers. The striking gets better every round, but it is very poor in that first round at just 34% accuracy as well. So on one side, we have a tremendous striker, high volume striker that also takes a ton of damage. And on the other side, we have the damage, who doesn't land as much damage on the ground, on the feet as he does on the ground, but also doesn't absorb as much damage as I would have thought, which is probably why he's going to so many decisions. I mean, he is durable and he is 40 years old, but Erosa's, 35 and very fight old as well. So this is, a fight against two fight old guys who've been around forever.
You like that, old man?
And yeah, as of now, I'm not sure who I'm picking, but I don't think Erosa is worthy of a minus 450 price tag. I mean, when's the last time Darren Elkins got really pieced up by somebody? Jonathan Pierce hit him with 7.3 strikes a minute. That's not good. 110 strikes. Connolly had 4.4, so he is getting volume landed on him. Cub Swanson had 8 strikes a minute in 2 minutes. Nate Landwehr had 8 strikes a minute on him. Lamas had 5 strikes a minute on him, so he can get volume landed against him, but he needs to get that control time going and some takedowns going, or else he's not going to win. 3 of 12 was 6 minutes against Pineda. 5 of 8 with 8 minutes against Brown. No control time against Pierce. He lost the fight. 8 minutes against Connolly with 5 takedowns and a win. None against Swanson. Loses. That Minner fight was, oh no, that was not the one I'm thinking of. 7.5 minutes against Garagori. See, and then none, less than 2, and just at 2. He's losing the fights that he's not getting significant control time in.
You have got to control this thing.
And Julian Erosa, what's he allowing for control? Very, very little. I mean, the last time he was controlled for any significant time was none. I mean, Steve Peterson had 44 seconds on him. Ricardo Ramos, 1 minute and 27 seconds of control in a 2-minute fight. He got subbed there. Ramos did. Let me scroll back up to Erosa's control defense, 46. Not terrible, but it's not great. So that's what we're really going to be looking for. Can Darren Elkins take down and control Julian Erosa? If he cannot, Darren Elkins will likely lose this fight. He could get KO'd. He could get subbed. It could be any of the two.
Is it too much to ask for both?
To be quite honest, and Erosa generally finds that in wins, like we said. Sub. A couple decisions here, another sub against Jourdain, knockout, sub. So what's that? 5 out of his last 7 wins have all been finishes, and both guys do score very well when they win. Wow. Julian Erosa. Wow, guys. Play these guys in your lineups. Play them in your lineups. Erosa, 8 of his last 9 fights, either him or his opponent has made optimal. Same thing with Elkins, 5 out of 6 times, him or his opponents.
Bingo! How fun!
Erosa 5 times in 6 wins. His opponents all 3 times in all 3 losses, they've been optimal. Elkins has made optimal 4 times in 4 wins since 2021, and he's put his opponent optimal once. Get these guys in your lineups. GPP fight. I think I said the last one was going to be a minus 700 inside the distance. This one won't be, but it'll be up there. It'll be, minus 2, minus 3, if I had to guess. I mean, maybe they think Darren Elkins is too durable to get submitted by Erosa, but my God, get these guys in your lineups if you play play DraftKings. Elkins only gives up 93 per loss on average, while Erosa gives up 105.5. He's also scoring 103, almost 104, which is 10% above the featherweight average, 107 in a win, and 96, almost 97 in a decision win for Erosa, which is huge if this does end up going to decision. If Elkins is actually durable, it's huge because that's 14% over the featherweight average. I love that number in decision wins. Meanwhile, both guys score extremely well in decisions. Elkins is at 99, 108.5 when he wins by finish, and overall 102.5. These guys are scoring machines. 16 in the first, 16 in the second, 14 in the third. A little better than Erosa, but Erosa has that, has more finishing upside, which is what boosts his score average up for the most part. And these guys are giving up a lot of points too. 12.5, 10 and 8, 15.5, 10.5, and 8 as well. Erosa put up 111 against Christian Rodriguez. What a fantastic win that was. 93 against Hamosh. I mean, he did nothing in that fight except get the sub. Landed a couple strikes, but that's all he needed to do. The fight lasted 2 minutes. In losses, he scores nothing. 6, 4, 4. But in his wins, guys, very, very good. Almost all of them well over 100 points. Probably the same thing with Elkins. 90, 110. Better loser in decisions, that's for sure. 36. Landwehr, he put up 60 in a loss. 60 in a loss, guys. 48 in a loss. So Elkins is the much better loser, has the much higher floor. I should stop saying better loser. Sounds so bad.
It does hurt, actually.
He has the much higher floor for sure. So Elkins is a fine play at whatever his very cheap salary is going to be, but you're going to want to play some Erosa in there too. Just play both sides. I'm picking Erosa for the win. I hate these defensive numbers. I really do. Elkins is much more solid, and that said, he's not even that solid to begin with. But the striking offense is not there for Elkins, to make me worry about this as much. I'm still very worried about it, but it's the striking offense for Julian Erosa. It's the mad finishes from Julian Erosa. It's Elkins losing decisions. Both of these guys actually are 5-2 in their last 7, so that's pretty good. Elkins is really tough to get out of there. I don't know, man. I'm gonna pick Julian Erosa. I'm not confident. Probably not touching this in cash. Maybe some Elkins, but at the same time, that's a very scary proposition. But yeah, I'm picking Erosa by finish. If this does go to decision, the winner could score very, very well. I mean, we know how Elkins fights. He's gonna be bloody. Erosa's gonna be exhausted. They're both gonna be beat up. It's gonna be fantastic. But I like the upside of Erosa a little bit more. I think his ceiling is a little bit higher in this fight, but Darren Elkins does have the floor and the what's likely to be very cheap salary. Very good fight here in the strawweight division between Virna Jandiroba taking on Xiaonan. Classic grappler versus striker match. I mean, we've got Virna, the extremely talented grappler. Very good takedown offense, control offense, ground striking, reversal, and submission. That's what we're looking at here. Obviously, her striking leaves a lot to be desired, but that is not her game. She lands 2 strikes a minute. She has landed a knockdown, but really relies on her takedowns and controlling 74% of the grappling time she is involved in, which is 2 of every 5 minutes that she fights. Fantastic numbers there. Also a very good takedown defense overall, and we see her defensive numbers here are fantastic all around. Significant striking, control, leg striking, everything is well above average. Not so much the clinch or the ground, reversals maybe, but everything else is fantastic. Her strength of schedule is very good as well at 63, and meanwhile Xiaonan is the exact opposite. Very, very good striking, as you would expect. The takedown is not there. The control time is not there either. But again, she is the striker in this grappler versus striker matchup.
No shit.
Strength of schedule virtually identical at 64 to Jandiroba, and then the defense is very, very good as well. The one that is interesting here is the control defense and the takedown defense from Xiaonan, rated 54 and 35 respectively, or the opposite of respectively since I said control first.
Backwards man.
And then the ground strike, reversal defense, and submission defense is also going to be brought into question here. Now, she does have a 63% takedown defense, which is terrible. Again, this has other numbers reflected into it, so it's not just the rating of this number, but this number is very, very bad at 63%. And Virna is going to test that for sure. Let's see. It's interesting comps for Xiaonan statistically. She fought Carla Esparza, who has similar striking to Virna Jandiroba, and she lost that fight. And this is the worst one. Xiaonan fought Zhang Weili, who does have statistically Similar wrestling to Virna Jandiroba, offensively and defensively, and obviously Xiaonan lost that fight. It was an ass whooping. 187. Virna has never been finished. 15 finish wins in her career. 14 of those have come by way of submission, guys. 3 of those in the UFC. She is 3-3 in UFC decisions. Meanwhile, Xiaonan has been finished twice, 1 sub, 1 KO. She is the striker again. She has 8 KO wins and only 1 submission win. So polar opposites of this very good stylistic matchup between Xiaonan and Jandiroba. Virna is a -150 favorite as of this Thursday. Xiaonan is not a stranger to being a dog. 4-2 as an underdog, -114 or wider, and she is 2-2 as a +200 underdog or wider as well.
My dogs are barking today.
Round by round numbers. These are going to, I mean, we can predict these. We don't even really have to spend a ton of time. There's going to be no volume for Virna, although she does increase that volume every single round. The takedowns are there, very consistent every single round, and the control time is just about 2 minutes or above in every single round. Extremely consistent numbers here for Virna, especially in the grappling department. Again, the striking numbers are very poor, but what do you expect? That is not her forte. They're the best in round 1 because she's landed that knockdown, and she also has the best accuracy she has in any round. Other than that, she's not allowing many strikes either. Less than 2 strikes in the first, 2.3. The third round is a problem at 4.4, and that is going to be a problem against Xiaonan, who lands her best volume, 6.34 strike in the third round, 5 in the second, and just under 4.7 in the third. So if this does get to the third round, which I assume it will, Virna hopefully needs to shore up that striking defense because Jan absolutely starts to tee off on her opponents in that round. Her striking defense is fantastic. What does she allow for takedowns? 0.52 in the first, 0.38 in the second, and 0.2 in the third. So she shores it up better and better in every round. She does allow a lot of control time, 1.28 in the first and second, cuts that in half in the third. So we're going to see how that plays out against Virna Jandiroba. The striking score is very consistent, and again, the best in the third round, which is obviously Xiaonan's best round. I mean, Jandiroba's been on a tear. Angela Hill, Marina Rodriguez, Lupi Godinez, and Amanda Lemos, a takedown or more in every single one of those fights. In fact, she did not land one against Murata, but other than that fight, she's landed a takedown in every single fight in the UFC, and she's attempting several in most fights. 8, 8, 7, 9, 5. Those are just her last 5.
These fucking wrestlers keep coming in.
Xiaonan. Zhang Weili landed 6 of 9 takedowns, controlled her for half of a 25-minute fight, and that's kind of how we are seeing. Remember how I said there was a comp statistically to Zhang Weili's wrestling and Virna Jandiroba's wrestling? This is a huge, huge problem for Xiaonan. If she's going to get taken down, she's going to get controlled. Virna is going to land ground strikes on her. She's going to look for a submission, and it is not going to end well. I mean, she's, if Virna goes to decision and wins with a ton of control, she's not going to score 170 points or whatever like Zhang Weili did, but Zhang had 10 extra minutes. So we're looking at over 100, though, in a win for sure, I would think.
You know, that's just like your opinion, man.
What is her money line? -150. We're gonna get a decent salary. What else happened when Xiaonan fought a striker or a grappler? She beat Mackenzie Dern, beat her by decision, majority decision. Carla Esparza, she lost to Carla Esparza. Other than that, it's kind of mix or mostly strikers. So yeah, she got KO'd by Carla Esparza actually in the 8th minute there. Jan landed 5 strikes in 8 minutes and did nothing else. Carla took her down 3 times, controlled her for 7 minutes 20 seconds out of 8 minutes, and then submitted her. So Jan does not perform well against grapplers, and that's what we are seeing here in Virna Jandiroba. I mean, nobody scores well in these fights. Obviously, Xiaonan put Zhang Weili optimal. She has also put another one of her opponents optimal. I believe that would have been not Marina. Yeah, Carla, the one we just talked about. Yeah, with that second round submission. So not only does Xiaonan not look good against grapplers, she puts them on the optimal lineup. Let's see. She's giving up, wow, her opponents score 118 per loss. Obviously, one of those is Zhang Weili. So let's take that score out, and we'll also take out her lowest of 61. Xiaonan allows a 137 point per loss. That must be her other loss. So yeah, she's given up 137, 155, and 61. Meanwhile, Jandiroba, when her opponents win, she allows less than 80 points. She does score 91 points per win, 95 in a finish, and 85 in a decision. None of those numbers are very good. In fact, the finish number is very poor, while Xiaonan is even less in wins, better in finishes, and fewer points in decisions as well. So Xiaonan, the better finisher, but not in decisions whatsoever, and that is because she does not score well by only striking if she doesn't find a finish. Very consistent consistent scoring from both women, double-digit scoring from Virna, double-digit scoring from Xiaonan. Yan gives up a ton of points, though. That's the problem. Her opponents score 14 in the first, 14 in the second, and 9 in the third. I know she fought Zhang Weili. That probably skewed that quite a bit, but all of Virna's numbers are under 10, but still, this 9.3 in the third is a bit concerning. She absorbs most of her striking volume in that third round. She was optimal against Lemos, and that's it. That's really it. As far as optimals go, we said they don't score very well. 96, 80, 95, 78, 74, or 54. She is going to be pretty cheap this week, probably mid 8Ks. So, I mean, that's what she was for Lemos. That's what she was for Hill. What's her average salary overall in the UFC is 8,100, so she is going to be more expensive than that this week. Have we looked at average value? Average value per win is under 11. That's not good. 11.3 for Yan Xiaonan, so I expect this to go to decision, but I will be playing some Virna for the gigantic wrestling upside, even though she does not score well, but she will be a relatively cheap favorite, and Yan Xiaonan does perform horribly against grapplers, guys. That's the main thing. I know Jandiroba doesn't score well. I know we talked about her scoring. We talked about her overall scoring. Scoring in wins is 10% under the divisional average, but Yan Xiaonan cannot fight grapplers or else she gives up a ton of points. She gave up 137 to Esparza in 8 minutes. That was not a 5-round fight. Yeah, she gave up 155 to Zhang Weili, but 137 to Esparza, which means without the bonus points, what's a second round finish? 70 points. So she allowed 67 points in 8 minutes. That is incredible. Esparza, known for being the B-side to one of the most boring fights in all of UFC history, scored 8.5 points a minute on Yan Xiaonan. Yeah. So Jandiroba's stock should go up because of that. I like her in this fight. I think she's good to roster in probably all formats. I might play a touch of Yan Xiaonan in GPPs in case she finds a KO, but again, Virna's never been finished. I don't see it happening in this one. I'll play a tiny bit just because of that, but I think Yan Xiaonan's going to be too expensive to play. She's a striker only that doesn't really knock a ton of people out. When is the last time she got one? Now watch, she has a ton. Watch, I'm so wrong about that. She did finish Andrade in 2 minutes. That was impressive. And that's it. The rest are decisions in her last 10. So
what can I tell you, kid? You're right. When you're right, you're right. You're right.
give me Virna, give me the upside, and give me the possible finish as well, because Xiaonan performs so terribly against grapplers. Next fight, John Silva taking on Bryce Mitchell.
Every day I wake up, I eat some coffee, grinds.
This one is happening at featherweight, and John Silva has made quite an impact along with the rest of the fighting nerds.
Goddamn nerds.
On the UFC in the last year or two. 5.26 strikes a minute is what he gets hit with. I'd like to see him get hit with fewer strikes than 4.1 a minute, which is not good, as you see reflected in this distance striking defense number, body striking, and even leg striking defense. But the rest of his defensive striking numbers are pretty good. Now this one, you can say, how is this one so low and this one is so high? Well, it's the head striking defense, so he doesn't get hit a ton to the head, and he doesn't get knocked down either. So that is that's a big one that improves this number pretty dramatically. Also, his striking defense is probably pretty good, which it is. 59% will also move this up, but the volume will really affect this number specifically. So that's why you see that so low, and this and that. But especially inside the distance, this dude is seemingly untouchable, and he's going to need that against Bryce Mitchell, who, as you know, we don't have to look at the numbers to know that he's an extremely good takedown and control guy, ground striking offense, and then submissions. That number could be better. He's very good at submissions. Defensively, he is very, very solid as well. Now, I say that knowing well that he was just flatlined in his last one.
You killed the other boxing man.
But outside of that, and let's go right to it, what's he really giving up? I mean, this one was huge, didn't do anything and got killed. Topuria killed him as well, but other than that, he's allowing 1 strike a minute, less than 2, 0.3. Dude, Charles Rosa landed 5 strikes in 15 minutes. Sales landed nothing. Moffitt landed nothing. I mean, these guys are terrible, not good names, and the guys that he has been fighting. I mean, Dan Ige landed 1.2 strikes a minute, 18 strikes in 15 minutes. That's very fucking good. So what's he doing? He's getting takedowns, and he's getting mad control time, and he's finding submissions, or in this case, Crone Gracie, a KO. But that is his game. 5 of 15, tons of control time. 1 of 9 against Topuria. That's Topuria. What are you going to do? Barbosa, 4 of 4, 12 minutes. 7 of 13, 10 minutes. 3 of 3, 13 minutes. That's what this guy does. What does John Silva allow? 0, 0. Jourdain took him down 3 times and controlled him, and then got KO'd 5 minutes later. 0, 0. So John Silva's defense, very, very good, but that will be tested against Bryce Mitchell. 64 4th ranked in the Monk ratings. Silva, though, 80% defense overall, so pretty good there. Good power, never been knocked down. Bryce Mitchell's landed a knockdown. Chindex, very, very bad, meaning he does get knocked down. Now I have to see who he knocked down. It was not Chrome Gracie. It was Edson Barbosa. Wow. Silva, 14 finishes, 12 KOs, 2 subs. Mitchell, 10 finishes, 1 KO, 9 subs. So much like the women's fight we just talked about, this is a very striker versus grappler-oriented match. No statistical comps. Right now, John Silva minus 325 on this Thursday to plus 275 for Mitchell, who is 2-1 as an underdog. Round by round, my favorite part. Bryce Mitchell, 2.3 strikes, 2.5, and less than 2 in the third. That is expected. That's what we've been saying. And here's where it's crazy. 1.3 takedowns, 2.6 control time in the first. Takedowns go down, control time remains in the second, and then it all goes back up. 1.1 takedowns in the third, and 2.8 minutes of control time. Almost 3 minutes in round 3, and that's with 31 minutes of round 3 time, guys. The numbers are crazy. The grappling numbers are very, very good offensively for Bryce Mitchell, and that should come as no surprise. The striking starts off okay and gets worse every single round. His defense, though, is decent, 64%, 56, but he gets, doesn't get hit with a lot of volume, but John Silva is definitely going to test that. I mean, 1.3 strikes, 2 strikes, and 1.4. John Silva is certainly going to test that for sure. But yeah, the offensive striking is just not quite there for Bryce Mitchell. But what do you think? You can't have everything, guys. You can't think the earth is flat and be able to grapple and strike. That's just too many things, and that's not fair to the rest of us.
I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
John Silva, 4.26 strikes a minute in the first, 7 in the second, and almost 6 in the third. Just very, very good volume. The striking scores are out of this world in each round for John Silva, and statistically, he's winning every round. This is very rare, and obviously I'm now seeing it with Bryce Mitchell. Both guys statistically win every single round that they're in on average, and by a lot too. So this is going to be a good fight. Silva does allow 3.5, almost 5 in the second, and then over 5 in the third. Again, we said at the top, we do not like that he allows so many strikes, but against Bryce Mitchell, we are really not worried about that. What is his takedown defense overall? What's he given up? 0.43 takedowns in the first, 0.44, and none in the third. No control time, half a minute and a third of a minute. So yeah, I mean, 20 to 30 seconds overall per round. Bryce Mitchell will test that. Now, John Silva, if the dude's a fucking
Maniac on the floor.
He's likely going to come out real hard in the first, but at the same time, he should not, expend all of his energy right away, because if he doesn't finish Bryce Mitchell like Josh Emmett did, then Bryce Mitchell's likely going to be able to start to land takedowns, be able to start controlling John Silva, who we haven't seen anybody do that yet. But again, who has he fought that's going to do that? Not Kevin Vallejos. I still can't say that name. I don't know why. It's easy to say, and I can't say it. Not Weston Wilson, not Jourdain. Drew Dober's a striker. Melsick's a striker. Like, he's not fought any grapplers really at all. I mean, Jourdain, you could call Jourdain a grappler, I suppose. 3 takedowns, 7 attempts, 1 minute of control time, but again, that got flipped around real quick.
I say, he'll flip you.
He'll what?
Flip you. Flip you for real.
Other than that, no one has landed a takedown on him. Drew Dober is attempting takedowns, 4 of them. Wilson and 1. Bryce Mitchell, as we said, is landing takedowns in mostly every fight, and he's attempting several, out-controlling his opponents every time he wins. So we're going to see Silva tested for sure. This is not a gimme fight for Silva. I personally think this line is too wide. I personally think the Emmett knockout and the fact that everyone hates Mitchell, which absolutely they should. Well, not everyone, we're learning, but a lot of people do. And the fact that Silva looks like an animal. This line is too wide, and I'm not parlaying. I wouldn't be parlaying Silva this week. Wouldn't be betting him if I was making a ladder bet or doing, the climb or whatever they call it. I would not be doing that. Hell no. This one's just going to be fun to watch, in my opinion. How do they score in DraftKings? Not great. 44 rating and 41. Silva's only made the optimal twice in 2 wins. I thought I error trapped this. I must need to fix that. And then Bryce Mitchell has made it once in his 3 wins. Meanwhile, his opponents, both times he's lost since 2021, his opponents have been optimal. Average salary for John Silva is $7K? That can't be right. Oh, it's because it's counting the DWCS fight. I gotta fucking switch the math on that.
I didn't ask for the whole story.
That's really not important, though. John Silva hasn't lost. Mitchell is giving up 101 on average. Silva scoring, just 92.5 per win. That's 2% under the featherweight average. When he wins by finish, it's only 98, so 7% under, and then decisions are even worse at just 70 points, 70% under. Mitchell is scoring even worse. When he finishes, he scores better, but it's just the featherweight average. Decisions, he is scoring much better, but again, pretty close to the featherweight average, but still much, much better than what John Silva is doing. So it is kind of tricky. rookie. You think John Silva's going to come out here and do a bunch of, he acts like a wild man. You think he's throwing all this volume and doing all these things, which he is, but when he wins, it's very pedestrian scoring. I mean, he's not even hitting 100 points on average per win. Let's go ahead and look at those wins. He did score 107 against Bogdasarian, only 66 against Drew Dober, and that was with a finish. So he got like 45 or 40 points for this bonus, and he still only scored 66 points. 107, I guess so he is scoring against bad competition. 104 against Jourdain, 115 against Wilson, but then it's these other scores that really bring him down. The Dober and the Kevin Vallejos fight, which is a very, very tough fight from both sides, as we've already seen. Bryce Mitchell, 105 against Crone, but who's not scoring a million points against Crone? 123, 112. He's kind of all over the place, 80s, 100s. I don't know what to think about this one for DraftKings, to be quite honest. Mitchell, 19 points in the first, 15 and 11. Meanwhile, here's what I mean. John Silva, this is more normal. So Mitchell is much more consistent. And while you add these numbers up and it's what, 32, 44, he's going to score 74 points in a decision. Bro, that means John Silva is going to score what, 27, 57 points in a decision? Which is possible. He almost did that against Drew Dober. But I'm just saying, these numbers are more of a mark of consistency and not a total or a projection of what I think they're going to score. And John Silva falls off a fucking cliff outside of the first round. So I am concerned about this, guys. The minus 325 is way too wide in my opinion. This strength of schedule is scary. This is very scary. This should be scary for Bryce Mitchell, but at the same time, man, he's got paths to victory, and I think this line is just too wide. I am picking John Silva. Outside of my bias, the stats say that I am going to pick Silva. If he can maintain his takedown defense, I think he's going to have a very simple time at winning this fight. But if he gets taken down and, more importantly, controlled by Bryce Mitchell, this is going to go the complete opposite way, and Bryce Mitchell probably going to win a decision if he gets takedowns and control time. So I'd be surprised if I saw a John Silva, tap out, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him, kind of get controlled for most of the fight if he allows it. So again, this is a scary fight. I don't think it's a 3-1 favorite. I am picking John Silva to win, but would it surprise me if Bryce Mitchell just grapple fucked him for 15 minutes? Absolutely not. So bet this at your own risk, play it at your own risk.
I also like to live dangerously.
I think both sides have upside here, and Bryce Mitchell is going to be extremely cheap at plus 275, so I don't want to put him in my lineups, but we're going to have to look past the nonsense and just play the game theory side of shit. He's worth some rostering in GPP fights, and John Silva obviously is in every single fight he's in. But again, if this gets out of the first round, he is not the best scorer, John Silva. So play this at your own risk. Strictly GPP fight for me, not touching it in cash, picking John Silva, rooting for John Silva. We'll see what happens on Saturday. Are you serious about UFC betting or daily fantasy sports? Get the deepest, most informative statistical breakdowns in the game with me, Monk. You get a full stat sheet for all 13 fights for just $9.99 a month, video breakdowns for every fight for just $4.99 a month, or detailed stat-driven write-ups, also $4.99 a month, or grab all three and more for just $14.99. That's a $5 savings per month. Pair my data with your fight tape, and let's get that money. Join now at patreon.com/monkmatics. That is patreon.com/monkmatics. Click the link in the description below. All right, boys and girls, we did it. Main event of UFC 314. This is the one that we have truly all been waiting for. Alex Volkanovski taking on Diego Lopes. If it's Lopes, it's Nunes, and we haven't figured that out yet. So we're gonna go with Lopes. I think it's Lopes. I'll probably say it both ways in this breakdown, so don't mind me. I'm just an idiot.
Oh my God! He admitted it!
Volkanovski, I mean, good lord. What do you have to say about him? 6.16 strikes a minute, allows 3.44. The striking is phenomenal. I mean, the distance striking from a featherweight rated at mythical at 97. Ground strikes, legs, control. I mean, the strength of schedule alone is fantastic. His opponent's record is 179-75. The submission offense, not very good, but that's okay. You can't be good at everything. Takedown offense is decent. 40% takedown accuracy is very good. A minute of control time per 5 minutes of fighting, and he controls 80% of all the grappling time he is involved in. That is insane. Now the defense has taken a hit lately, and we're going to look at the last few fights. These are obviously career ratings, right? And he's, not been the best in the past couple fights, so we are going to look at that. Don't you worry. Defense, takedown defense is phenomenal. Control defense, strength of victory, strength of defeat is as high as it can go, but the body striking, clinch, and distance striking defense, not so good. Inside the distance is very interesting. interesting because the striking numbers are bad, but the control overall is very good, which tells me in this 20% of the time that he is not controlling, he is getting hit with clinch strikes, he's getting hit in the body, and he's getting hit on the ground. Meanwhile, Diego Lopes, everybody just thinks grappler when they think of Lopes, right? 4.2 strikes a minute, though, that's very good volume. 4.11 back at him, so he's not getting outstruck, as a lot of grapplers tend to do. He's also giving up a ton of control time. He only controls 30% of the control time he's involved in, probably because he has a million submissions. 12 submissions out of his 22 pro finishes. The other 10 are KO, TKOs. So this dude, coming into the UFC, everybody's like, he's a grappler because he didn't do anything against Gavin Tucker. He scored 90 points against Tucker because that's all he did. All he did was get a submission, win. No strikes, no control, no nothing. So everybody's like, oh, he's a grappler. He loses to Mavzar in his first fight, which, what the hell?
What the hell?
Who did he piss off? He gets Joe Anderson Brito in the Dana White Contender Series. Jesus Christ. Then he gets Mavzar in his first UFC fight. This is like Reese McKee levels of we hate this guy. But they don't hate him, so I don't, that's just bad luck, I guess. But yeah, Gavin Tucker fight. Oh, he's a grappler. He's a, submission artist, which he is. That is true. He's the grappling coach for, I forget what gym. Some very, very good gym. I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, it's where Grasso trains in Mexico, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But then he's like, oh, we're going to sub Pat Sabatini. Then he comes out and in a minute 30 lands 8.6 strikes a minute, so 13 strikes. Does attempt a takedown but doesn't get it, but then lands the knockdown and finishes him via TKO. Then Sadiq Youssef, he does exactly the same thing, except this time it's no takedowns, and he just struck with him, knocked him down twice, had to score 1 million DraftKings points.
Out of the fucking blue!
I mean, that had to be fantastic. Then the Ige fight was extremely short notice, goes all 15 minutes. I did talk a little shit about Ige's wrestling earlier in the show, but Lopes was successful on 1 of 3 attempts and got 4 minutes of control time, so didn't do a ton in that fight, but did enough to win for sure. And you can't take anything away from him for that fight. That was just an insane week all around. I forget who he was even supposed to fight, but they fell out who was it? Comment down below. Please tell me who I'm forgetting that fell out of this fight, because I cannot remember. Was it Brian Ortega? Because he fought him next. I can't remember. Leave me a comment below, because I really don't remember. But then he does fight Brian Ortega, gets that decision. Much better performance than the Ige fight, in my opinion. 7 strikes a minute, so doubled his output from Dan Ige. Got hit with 4.2. Didn't allow any takedowns. Didn't allow any control time for Brian Ortega. 6 seconds out of 15 minutes. But there wasn't much of that to go around. What control time there was Diego Lopez's controlling 2 minutes 45 seconds of the fight. But yeah, 7 strikes a minute against Ortega, so he's looking really good on the feet. And we'll come back to Volkanovski's numbers, which is why these numbers look so good. He is not just a primary grappler. I know he is a primary grappler, but I mean...
What's that? Say that again?
The striking numbers are not to be trifled with. And let's go back down, because what is Volkanovski doing recently? Because his numbers are fantastic overall. But against, and I know this is Makhachev twice and Ilia Topuria, he allowed 7.7 against Makhachev in a minute and got knocked out brutally. Didn't allow a ton against in the first one, but only landed 2.8 of his own, and then 5.5 against Topuria, but we all know what happened in that one. So he is still landing his volume, so I guess that's still okay. Against Makhachev, what do you expect? You don't expect a ton of volume against somebody like that. But against Yair, 4.6, which is, I still think, above his average, just barely.
Wrong!
Well, no, 6.6 is his average. So yeah, he's well below his average striking numbers for his career. As you can see, 6, 5, 8, 8, 8. I don't know if we said that 8 already. We did. And then it drops 2, 4.5, 1.2, and 5.5. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can keep that up against, or if he can get back to his old ways, rather, against Lopes. See, I just did it. Who's allowing, not a ton of strikes at all. I mean, he allowed a ton to Mavzar. None to Gavin Tucker. Nothing happened in that fight except for a submission. 4.6, 1.3, 2.8, and 4.2. So I am interested to see that as well. But what is standing out for Volkanovski is outside of this Makhachev fight specifically, the 25-minute one, the first one, no one's taking him down. Ortega took him down twice. That was fucking super scary, but also brought us one of the better moments in all of that entire year, possibly that decade. So no one is taking Volkanovski down. So is Lopes going to go for takedowns like he did against Ortega and Ige, but interestingly enough, he really doesn't go for any takedowns. He waits to get taken down. So I think he's going to want to keep this on the feet, man. I don't know, dude. This is going to be an exciting fight.
I never met a fight I didn't like.
I'm so back and forth with this because the numbers are so crazy from both sides. Let's look at the round by round because we did skip a lot of stuff, including the money line, in which Volkanovski is currently favored on this Thursday, April 3rd, minus 150. Now, there is a comp with the wrestling from Yair Rodriguez to Diego Lopes, and Volkanovski did beat Yair Rodriguez. And we looked at the finishes for Lopes, I believe, the 12 subs. Alex Volkanovski has 13 KOs and 3 subs himself, none in the UFC. He's never been subbed, and he's never submitted anyone in the UFC, just knockouts and KOs as far as finishes go. And he is, of course, 8-1 in decisions as well. Lopes is 1-2 as an underdog in the UFC, and I told you I was going to say it several different ways throughout this fight, and I have not let you down on that, have I?
Amateurs usually don't make it.
Volkanovski, round by round, 4.65 in the first, 6.4 in the second, and 7 strikes a minute in the third. Volkanovski, his striking gets better and better every round until the fourth, when it drops back to 6.37. Oh no, that's such a terrible number. Then it goes back up to 7.52, the most volume he lands overall in any round.
He can hit.
So definitely not what I would call a slow starter, but on his standards, 4.65 a minute is a slow start. 0.7 and 1.1, let's see, 0.8, 1.2, 0.4, 1.2, 0.1, so the takedowns and control time are very consistent in rounds 1, 2, and 3, and then they pretty much fall off in the fourth round, down 58%. His takedowns landed per 5, and the control time is down 47% from round 3. Now, what's he allowing per round? 2.8 strikes, 3.4, 3.6, 4, and then 4.0. So they do go up more as the fight goes on, but the takedowns and control time allowed are relatively consistent. Round 4 is his worst defensive round as far as allowing takedowns and allowing control time. But everywhere else, it's relatively pedestrian. In fact, it's very good defensively from Alex Volkanovski. Just that fourth round is clearly his worst round as far as that goes. I mean, the accuracy is on point. He's over 56% in every single round. I mean, except round 1, he's 53%. And the power's there in the first, the second, the third, and he's landed a knockdown in the 5th round, so the power stays.
Ping, pow, zoom, zoom.
The striking defense, 60% in that 5th round, 60 in the second, or in the third, and the second, and the first.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday.
So the numbers from Volkanovski are what you would expect. Insanely good. And obviously he is, only 1-4 in his last, or 1-3 in his last 4. But again, champ. Like, what are we talking about here? He's only 36. I mean, that is getting up there, and he has taken some punishment. But guys, he was untouched for so long in the UFC, just killing guys, taking no damage, that it's probably not an issue right now. And in those Islam Makhachev fights, only one of them he got hit with a ton of strikes. It was like 7 a minute. Yeah, in the second one, it was 7 a minute. He only took damage in that fight. This one, he got hit, with only 2.2 strikes a minute. It was mostly control and takedowns. Even Ilya, he outstruck Ilya by a strike and a half per minute in 8 minutes. He outstruck Yair by almost 2 strikes a minute, landed a ton of takedowns. So yeah, the worst things from Volkanovski are coming against the best of the best competition. And hey, one of those guys that he lost to is a legend, right? The other one is Islam Makhachev, but the other guy is a legend, so that's got to be worth something. Meanwhile, Lopes, 4.8 strikes a minute, 2.5, 5.3. Just a very, very good striker overall. He's allowing 3.1 in the first, 4.1 in the second, and then 6 in the third. So that defense is not good at all, especially as the fight goes on. Wow, over 6 strikes a minute, and you're taking on Volkanovski, who lands over 7 strikes a minute. The defense is much worse as far as striking goes compared to Volkanovski, 53, 47, and 51. The takedowns and control time, again, they are there. Diego gets taken down, he gets controlled, but again, we're not worried about that because he is such a good grappler. It's the striking that we have to be worried about. It's the seemingly incredible power in the first round, giving his striking score a 98 overall in round 1. Does fall off to 45, but then recovers in round 3 to 81. Again, round 2 statistically is Diego's worst round, but defensively it's round 3. I mean, these scores, he has got a 22 rating for defensive striking in round 3, 44 takedown, and 15 control. Again, we don't care about these for him, but this number is a big fucking deal when you have a 93 offensive striker in the third round in Volkanovski. So this is what I am looking for. I do not expect Volk to get finished in the first round, and therefore I think this might be a long night for Diego Lopes. Sorry, this fight's going to go way long. I'll try to edit it as much as possible, but I'm just so excited about this fight, man. I'm really looking forward to it. We already looked at that. How do these guys score? Volk scores tremendously. In fact, at one point, yeah, he still is. He's 4 for 4 in his last 4 wins since 2021 as far as being on the optimal lineup. He's put his opponent optimal twice in 3 losses, and he was optimal in one of those losses. So in 7 fights, Alex Volkanovski has been on the optimal lineup 7 fucking times. Damn! Get him in your lineup, guys. Optimal fighters fight optimally. That's what I always say. I do say that. Diego Lopes, twice in 5 wins, he's been optimal, put his opponent optimal once, so 3 of 7. But you have to play Volk. You have to play Volk. When he loses, his opponents score 100 points. When he wins, he averages 112.37. You take out the highest and the lowest, which is 135, and his lowest is 82. So again, I forget who we talked about before with the extremely good floor. I think it was Nikita Krylov. Volkanovski, extremely good floor. 82 points is the lowest win he's ever had. Take those out, his score goes up by half a point to 112.91. Meanwhile, Lopes a lot lower, 94 per win. Take out the high and the low, which his low is 70. And you get 93. His opponents average about the same as Volkanovski when he loses, which is 100. Average Volk win is 112, 19% over the featherweight average. Average finish win is 124, which is 17% better. And his average decision win, holy shit, is 105, 24% better. The average value per win is over 14x. In finishes, it's over 14x. And in decisions, guys, it's over 14x. Play this dude in tons of your lineups. Every win's over 80, 12 of them out of 13 over 90, 10 of them over 100, and 6 of them over 110. I mean, just phenomenal numbers from this guy, Volk. Meanwhile, Lopes 94, which is the featherweight average, 105 in wins, which is the featherweight, or in finish wins, which is the featherweight average, and 77 in decision wins, which is 9% lower. The average value per win is 11, 13x in finishes, but just 9 in decisions. And I understand this one is 5 rounds, so those numbers should all be elevated for both guys. Lastly, guys, our DraftKings round by round scoring falls off a cliff for Lopes. I'm going to say it every way I can possibly say it. 13.5 in the first, then 5, then 6.5. Just terrible. Meanwhile, 10, 10, and 8 is what is getting scored on him. Very consistent. Volkanovski, speaking of consistent, 18 points, 18.5, and 14.5 in round 3. Extremely good numbers in those 3 rounds, and he's never giving up even 9 points per round. But round 4 and round 5 does fall down a little bit, 6 points and then almost 7, so not too bad. And he gives up even fewer points in rounds 4 and 5. I know I just said lastly, but let's look at the scoring before we get out of here. Topuria scored 94, 113. I mean, everybody's optimal in these fights. Just put these guys in your lineups. Put Volk in your lineups. And Lopes has only been optimal against Sadiq Youssef, 122 in 30 seconds. He was optimal against Sabatini, another 90-second fight. He scored 105 points, and that was it. He did put Movsar optimal, like I said, in his debut, where Movsar scored 120 points on him by racking up what I'm sure was tons of takedowns and control time, since that's what Diego gives up. 4 for 7 and 830. So yeah, Volk, I think, can do, if he doesn't get caught early by some crazy striking from Lopes, then I think he's going to win this fight. I think he's going to rebound. I don't think he's done. I don't think he's on a downswing, at least not on the one that everybody thinks he is. I do like Lopes. He's obviously talented. Is this too quick, guys? Is this a Steve Erceg situation? Like, for real, is it? Gavin Tucker, Sabatini, Youssef, Ige, Ortega, these are all decent names. I mean, Evloev, decent as well, but now all of a sudden he's getting Volkanovski. He probably has earned it. I'm not saying he hasn't earned it, but Volkanovski is levels above Ortega and Ige and Youssef and Sabatini and even Evloev. Like, and Lopes is, to my knowledge, not anywhere near Makhachev or Topuria. So I still think there's levels to this. I still haven't picked an underdog, and I'm not going to in this fight, guys. I am picking Alexander Volkanovski to win the currently unclaimed featherweight belt, get it back, 3-time champ. I believe it's 3-time, might be 2, I don't know, 3, 2, 4, something like that.
How many are there? How many have there been?
What does it matter?
I think he gets it done against Diego Lopes. I'm going to pick him by decision, and I'm going to play the shit out of him in DraftKings. He's going to score 1 million points if this fight goes the way I think it's going to go. So I'll also obviously play Diego Lopes in case these 3 finishes are, not just against the best guys in the world, but are becoming a trend. Just in case that happens, of course, I'll have Lopes here, but give me Alexander Volkanovski for the win and new. Let's go. That wraps up the YouTube edition of Dad'll Do It for UFC 314. For in-depth and informative statistical breakdowns for all 13 fights at UFC 314, head on over to patreon.com/monkmaddox. That's patreon.com/monkmaddox and see what's waiting for you. Best of luck this week, and as always, I want all of you to enjoy the fights. So, enjoy. We will see you in the next one.
I love this stuff. Only come here if you like that stuff.